Yo, how is everybody today? We're back. I feel like I forgot something. I forgot my commute. Hold on. Forgive me. We drive. We arrive. We salute. There we go. Now we're good. So, we're working on drip. Files are still transferring for other projects. Yeah, it's a lot of files. Scan data is real big. But yeah, so we have more time to do drip. Dang, does it still drip? It does drip. Okay, so I have some ideas that I wrote down yesterday. Because I try to stay open-minded. You know, you gotta switch between being open-minded to solve problems or come up with solutions, and then closed-minded to implement those solutions. And then when you have a problem, you need to go open-minded again to try and figure out why it went wrong. So it's like a constant back and forth. Admittedly, it is way easier to go open-minded or more open-minded when you do some sort of like mental phase transition. So like when stream ends, a couple of weird phases. There's like a I don't need to be talking to anyone anymore phase. And then there's like the, oh, but I still have stuff to do to end the stream phase. And then I have like the, I need to go about the rest of my life phase. Somehow in there could be another phase, which is like, what the hell did I just work on stream? And I will evaluate that. It's kind of often that I do that. But sometimes I come back to stream and I'm just charged. I know exactly what I want to touch because I figured it out like 5 minutes after the last stream ended. And that's just how it be sometimes. So, yeah, that's what happened. I have a bunch of notes. Hopefully I can remember them. Or they're written out well. We'll see. But we're so close. I'm proud that we got the raycasting and the normal wrapping work. It would be cool to be able to travel all the way around and not just go down. All things we might deal with today. Anywho, Gav, how are you? What are you up to today? Yeah, so I got this. So extrude moving it down to the origin. This is an idea that, you know, we're moving the whole object and that's fine. But as soon as we do the extrude, for some reason, it's moving the object back to center and then doing the extrude. Oh, I also found out yesterday, which really sucks. There's a maximum character limit in a title for a frame. It means I can't actually use frames for as many notes as I want. That's why I have 3 here. So I guess we're still looking for note solutions. Okay, so yeah. One idea is if the extrude does move, extrude moves everything, then can we do an extrude before we move it to place? Like maybe not. Maybe any extrude's always going to move it back to origin, but it's something to try, right? Is that we try to do one extrude first, then we move it, and then we do all the other extrudes, just to see if we can, I don't know, now that I'm saying it, it's like, yeah, it's an idea. It's probably not a great idea. I'm having a hard time seeing past the fact that if one extrude moves it, wouldn't every extrude move it? Okay, so yeah, then the other thing that I was thinking, you can link a text to be shown inside the frame. I'm interested. Tell me more. Also, hi Catless, how are you? Link text to be shown inside the frame. I'm intrigued. Not this, is it? We have to do a new text. Well defined. Oh, so it's gonna pull from a path, maybe? Though I don't know if that's exactly what you're talking about. It's not terrible. I just need to create a file and then do I have to do the whole path? Or is there a way to create a text within here? That's the same symbol. So if we do new here and we're like extrude moves stuff, try extruding different. Sure. I don't see a save. Is it auto saved? What is this? Blender assets. Or save as text. Okay. Nodes, text. I have to. Okay. Okay. I see. Yeah, then okay, so then you just do this. That saved the blend. I actually have to manually save. Alt S. Okay. That works. Can make the text in it. Yeah, because I knew about the script editor, that was kind of intuitive, actually. Yeah, I might not have figured that out unless you specifically told me that I should be looking at this to fill this with the text. It's okay, it works. Yeah, what are you up to today, Gallus? Anything cool? Okay. Test that. Okay, Alt S doesn't save. Maybe we got remapped. Oh, it just needs to be longer. Okay, never mind. Having a whole offset for a starting point might not be the worst. You're being bored? Mm-hmm. Time for a new project, maybe? Or are you procrastinating from a project? I also kind of feel like I'm between things. I can't really sink my teeth into anything real. That's why we're doing this drip. Though the drip, I had this idea. Like, I'm trying to think of cool fantasy mech schemes, right? And I want a good portion of them to feel very primitive or primal. So then a sub portion of that is going to be like skulls and chest cavities, maybe giant limbs of very large creatures that you could hollow out to make, you know, the majority of a mech. I'm also looking into just like how to primitively assemble some things. And this is coming from the idea that like, so if you could get a tree stump, which is already pretty hard, pretty big, has the volume you need and sturdiness, but then if you need to add a little bit more rigidity, could you pour molten metal? Because I think it's only going to burn so much of the tree, but then it would add some rigidity. And then also, you know, it's fantasy, so there could be some magic involved in both heating and cooling, or preserving the wood while the hot metal is applied to it. But then just having these cool drips that are forming down the tree trunk. And then wherever they did it, right, it would have like little pools, molten pools right at the bottom. So it would have almost this like straight out skirt of these cool molten ripple pools that go up into these long, you know, metallic wax dripping. I don't know if it's a great idea, but it's an idea. Might get thrown out, but yeah, that's why we're here in the first place. Hi, Yag. Hi, Ben. How you guys doing? Yag, how be you? Ben, how's your game going? Set yourself up making over-detailed temp assets with very uninspired mechanical design. That sounds hard. Unless that's something you're good at. If that is something you're good at, I might just need to hire you. Because I also try to do that. And I find it just... You need the inspiration. I almost want to take a week or a month of just like waking up, reading through my D&D library, and taking notes. Not necessarily on D&D, but like just reading the stuff. It always filters through me. I'm like, I like this, I would change it this way. I don't like this, I would throw that out. Yeah, and it's not always like sticking to the content, but like it starts the spark in your brain towards themes and ideas and concepts that, you know, your mind's void of before that. That's the idea. Because, yeah, as I've mentioned before, I also am kind of struggling with some of the inspiration. You're tired, you can't code, you're useless? I wouldn't say you're useless. Can't do anything, it's hard for you. I mean, yeah, coding can be a little bit hard at first, and then it gets hard for different reasons, but more rewarding reasons. Yeah, stick it out there. I even have days where I'm like, how am I a coder? How am I? There are people out there that are doing like 10 times the like in-depth coding, performance evaluations, efficiency, you know, gains, all the things, all the, you know, they're setting up the unit tests, they're running the unit tests. There are people doing some like very high level stuff. At the same time, it doesn't mean that my game is less functional when I get a piece of programming to work. So like, I know what you mean. It does come easy to some people. But I do find all of the satisfaction from coding is because it took some work. So the feeling that you have now hopefully gets put on a shelf as a trophy later. Hopefully. You're doing? Thinking about how to do something in the app and it's proving to be too complicated to be added by the 17th. Ooh, do you want to talk about it? What are you trying to add? Let's talk functionality. And I'm not a Musk fan. I'm not. I want to preface it with that. But he did have a couple of really interesting managerial things that he was saying before he went absolutely batshit crazy. One of those things was like about reducing design needs. And then subsequently, I think it was a different talk, but just trying to subtract things as a part of solutions. And I love that. It sounds like if it's too complicated, we need to cut it out. But maybe not the whole thing, just like some of it. Doing horny because that's a gasp emoji? Wait, is it really? That looks like a crying emoji. Wary. Yeah, no, that's like tired. Sigh. But I also get that it could be a gasm. Too much in text? That's fair. My bad? Don't worry about it. No worries. Hmm. Anywho, yeah. Well, I hope you figure it out. Yeah. Remember, there's a couple things like enemies, right? So in Diablo 2, there are enemies, all of the enemies. As long as you're playing the game and you're in the session, when you kill them, they're dead. But when you start the game again, even though it's loading the same maps, it will load the enemies back up. So you can grind the same place over and over as long as you quit, like save and quit, and then go back in. So I was like, how do I do that? Obviously, I need something that's going to like hold all of the monsters for the chunk, and then we have a separate list for all of the ones that are still alive, and we're gonna have bools for like which ones we're saving and which ones we're not saving. It took me like 2 days of just thinking about it in the back of my mind to whittle it down to like, wait a second, can we just make sure that all of them have a properly unique ID, which is not that hard, and then store the numbers that are dead right now, and then don't save the list of the ones that got dead this session. So that way it persists while you're in the session, but like we're not going to load that up again. And just having, unique IDs, which it's a little functionality which I just avoided. It was some tech debt. And then one list we don't even need to save somehow was a whole feature that really worked out. So yeah, that's my anecdote. Can't tell I'm itching to get back to game development. Someday. But here we are making drips. Okay, so I don't know if I even want to try extruding first. That, in the light of morning, seems like a stupid idea. Last night, danger was stupid. This morning, danger, it's agile, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. I think we need an offset. Hopefully that's easy, right? Can we just do it here? This is the amount that we extrude. We need 2 offsets. We have one to offset the extrusion and another one to offset the entire mesh. I don't know. I was almost there. My brain almost turned over. But then it sputtered. This should be this would be the offset for the whole object. Almost the whole object. Oh, but it's happening per. So it's not a solid offset. Yep, nope. Brain definitely broke. It's smoking. It's a wreck. Oh man, I hate it. Okay, so if we're gonna do this correctly, when we're adding, we also need to subtract the same value. Okay, yeah, this kind of makes sense. If we subtract that, don't need this. We need to keep the data. Okay, so if we, how do we route it though? Okay, wait, this is a whole new way of thinking. This could change. So like the first time we have an offset, but we don't have an offset the rest of the times. So if we technically put a vector that's 0 here, so that way every subsequent one would be blank. And then we use the starting vector that's this point. And maybe we need to reverse it. Okay, no. But, yo, zombie, what's up? This is so silly. How you doing? I feel like I spend all morning doing Pico stuff to find out none of the Pico stuff was gonna work. The thing that really got me this morning was that the Pico link on the Steam. Sorry, I know it's kind of non sequitur, but yes, the Pico link app that you get through Steam to get Steam VR to recognize the Pico. You would download it or like install it, whatever, through Steam. The app would start and then it would have an update icon, and the update icon causes all sorts of problems. It doesn't update the actual Steam app. It installs a separate app altogether. Like the same app, but a new version in a new location. Could not find that app or location, which is fantastic, right? It started with another update button. So I clicked that update button, and it's like, I can't do that because Steam VR is running. And like, couldn't get it to run at all, so I had to like restart the whole computer. Then I couldn't find it anywhere. Yep. Pico hardware is cool. I don't like a single piece of the Pico software that I've touched so far. You got a package today? Cool. What kind of package? Link app is trash. Pico 3 was problematic with that too. I just wish ByteDance would get it together. But I have a first-hand experience that Pico has fired most of its dev team. Either that or folded them back into TikTok to do XR development. So Pico 4 is cool as long as it continues to function. Gosh, this less. Or is it the same, just shifted? Okay, this makes me feel like maybe we should extrude first. Maybe that wasn't a bad idea. throw this in selection, I guess. From Kazakhstan with a ton of very strange snacks. Ooh, that sounds fun. You can't read any of the packaging. Oh, that's even more fun. I mean, if it's from Kazakhstan, I think I can tell you one thing, and that is that none of it's gonna have pork in it. So if that's something you care about, then you're safe. Hopefully you have no other allergies. And extrude this, and it'll do what it does, and then we'll move it. Okay, no. Hmm. No pork, but you know that one of the snacks is made from horse milk. After you try that, you got told what it is. It's not good. Uh, okay, so I've never had horse milk. It does sound kind of gross. I, the wife and I, at one point, when it was being advertised, got a box of chip bags from, oh, I forget what it was called, but they were all chips engineered to have illegal flavors. And one of the bags of chips was horse flavored chips. That was gross. That was really, really bad. I was like, how, you know what? It's probably like beefy, right? Maybe a little gamey. I can't even explain the taste, but just something I never want to have in my mouth again. Horse meat? Maybe well, it's illegal. At least I think it is here. But maybe I'll try it if I get a chance. Hmm. I feel like it would be tough. They do a lot of running. I might be a monster, but I love lamb. Lamb is so good. My mother gets mad at me. But you know what? I don't care. Air dried pepperoni sausage made from horse was really awesome. All pepperoni is good though, right? Like I switched to turkey pepperoni and it doesn't taste any different than other pepperonis that I've had in my life. Uh, it's a beautiful medley of spices that overtakes any original flavor. So yeah, I would try that because I trust pepperoni. Mhm. We have bison every once in a while. I think it's bison. Uh, that one tastes good, but it's really tough. So yeah, forget the link app exists. Yeah, we'll do. I mean, I will, but I have to live with it for a few more days because I definitely put a support ticket in to Steam to be like, I think for a few reasons you should take this off the Steam store. And one of them is that their terms of service lists that they are not responsible for any viruses that are on your computer. It's like, and then you can't even stick to the Steam launcher? No thanks. I need to work against this. Yeah, it's really sad because the headset's So good. So now listen, every TOS, listen, some terms of services will specify that they are not responsible for viruses that you obtain from third parties using their store apps. Pico made it so vague. They're just like, we're not responsible for any viruses you get using anything that we make. Furthermore, we're going to check all your social media apps. Furthermore, if your social media doesn't, there was some terminology. If anything that you ever post in your life goes against any of the interests of any parties that have any bearing on the ByteDance company, they have all rights to terminate service. You know, just like quick clause for anyone that says anything anti-China, we're just going to take away your Pico. But again, the hardware's so nice. I might end up trying a Oculus 3. I feel like that is floating around one of my environments. I might test it out just to see. Because the augmented reality looks really good. And I know Meta's evil. But I also don't want to pay Apple $3,500 for augmented reality when I could develop stuff for... I'm hoping it goes on sale. I am really hoping that the Quest 3 at some point goes to $400 or maybe $350. That would be nice. I'll be happy with virtual desktop. Anything you got to work first before you get more HMDs? Yes. But yeah, if the virtual desktop didn't work, I was going to design the whole thing for the Quest 2 and then just spend a little bit of time porting it over. Yeah. And the pass-through looks so good. Most of the VR development I do is not in a headset, and then testing things is a pain in the butt. So like, if you have pass-through and you could just be in the headset a little bit more often, that's perfect. So we drip. This just offsets the wrong side. So it's like we move it before we extrude it. Okay, we can do that. And if it's that simple, I'm going to feel kind of like an idiot. That's not new. That's cool. So wait, do you have a Pico 4 yet, Zombie? You just have the Pico 3? You have the 4? Very good. I don't know how much that means. Because again, it's so compatible with the Quest 2. Yeah, it's nice to have some sort of system parity. Okay, also, how do you feel about every time you put it on, what the content that fills up the App Store? In fact, when you put it on, what is 90% of the content that you see? Just out of curiosity, so I don't incriminate myself before I need to. Okay, this tomorrow. Headsets sound like terrible products? I mean, you could say that, but try and order one and tell me that you're not actually kind of the most excited with anticipation for any tech that you've gotten in a long time. Because I am also like, I've had so many VR headsets. I know what VR is like. I don't even play that many VR games. I still get so excited at a new VR headset. I don't know. Just get giddy. It's like new lenses. You can only experience them by putting them in front of your face. Then again, I will always have some sort of complaints about the ecosystem. When you put it on, you see very, very sparse shelves with 4 to 5 games in your Steam VR home environment. Okay, alright, I'm gonna end up incriminating myself. Or your Windows desktop if you forgot to start Steam before putting it on. That's not a bad idea. Okay, yeah. So when I put it on, and I got it straight from the large corporation that I am working with to get this very small app done. Like they gave it to me after they bought it and registered it and put it into their like inventory system. And I put it on for the first time, and I immediately, guess we're going full anecdote mode. I immediately went for like, okay, what are the free games that I could play? Show me the free games. So I go and I find Magic Puzzle, which is like they cut up 3D models, they do a bunch of parts, and you pick them up and you snap them together in 3D space. Kind of cool, right? So I could put a dragon model together. The lenses look amazing, right? I am like, hey wife, you should try this. It looks really cool. There's a fun little game where you get to assemble a dragon. You'll think the dragon is cute. So I give it to her, and she's immediately like, okay, wait, where's the app? Why are there all of these scantily clad women? I'm just like, blushes, turns red. What are you talking about? Why? I don't, huh? That wasn't me? And then I put it on and I noticed for the first time, yeah, the opening thing, it's just advertising all of these like Russian swimsuit models. Scanned in VR or like side by side video, or like just like 90% of the content they're pushing at me every time I put the headset on is just like woman on beach. Like this is just an Uncle Perv machine. No cry me. Thanks for lurk. It depends. If it needs to be actively connected to Meta, Tencent, Apple, or whoever, you'd feel too much disgust to be excited. New fancy tech or not. That is fair. So like, yeah. Maybe wait for the Vive. There's a new Vive coming out, I think. The tech is good. I'm not going to argue with you. Those are all very legitimate points. All companies I really don't want to be giving even my statistics to. Like, I don't want to give them the +1 user number. Yeah, that's true. Typical free app store trash. I want to say that before I went to free games to find the Magic Puzzle game, that maybe it was showing me a lot of paid content that was like first person shooters, or I don't know, maybe something more similar to what you see in the Quest, more games. But yeah, now I went to free once and now I'm just plagued. There's enough of that on Steam too though. And how? Yep. And Steam, I don't know how it's plagued by developers that don't know how to like label mature content. But I feel like every week there's at least one game that you can see full nude pictures on, even though you have your censorship settings to like, no adult content. And Steam. Steam, I need you to stay the same. You need to stay good while Epic is doing all the weird stuff they're doing. That's not really happening. Steam's getting a little bit worse. You're browsing the Steam list with your mom to find something for her? Okay, good start. Good start. Okay, I want either of these. We're gonna drop vector eventually. This is what we use. We're gonna put this. Oh, do the thing. There we go. -1. Magical. Truly magical. Let's add nothing. Someday I'll learn math. Someday. It's just the first one. It's just the one extrude that I need to absolutely kill. Is it just the first? Is it really just the first? Let's make an exception for that. Let me just quote. Oh no, we don't click on that one. Nope, neither on that one. Why? It doesn't run on your PC. You like Subnautica? Maybe she'd like that too. Yeah, Subnautica seems like a great VR experience. Right up until the scary fish. But I don't feel like Subnautica's jump scare. Oh, actually, Catalyst, did you play Outer Wilds? So I haven't actually played Subnautica. I think I have it. I haven't gotten around to it yet. I've seen some people play it. And I would say it has some comparison to Outer Wilds. So good. And then the scare factor, I think, is similar. There are some parts of Outer Wilds that is, I'm going to say terrifying. But the way that they're terrifying, so much more controlled. Until the DLC. I will not support the DLC. Don't get Outer Wilds DLC. You just started Subnautica? Cool, cool. It's got swimming. Dancing and sports? It's not bad. Yeah, Outer Wilds was fantastic. I think it'd be right up your alley. I won't say anything more about it. Like, it's the one game that I have seen with the harshest backseating rules across multiple channels. Because it's such a discovery-oriented game that even communicating about the game at all can give away so much. There's just not like so much to it. There's so much to discover. And they're all minute, and every minute discovery is like a big, beautiful, like eye-opening, like, oh my god, okay. Okay, it's different than I thought it was. So yeah, I definitely suggest that. I would suggest not getting the DLC until after you finish the main game, because you will be tempted to try the DLC, and I feel like the DLC punishes you for exploration. And if you stumble into the DLC, like, it's going to be kind of confusing, because it's, again, the game's about discovery, the DLC is about something else that feels like it's much more punishing for discovery. Anyway. Yeah, so good. So good. I don't always agree with backseating rule. I'm sure. Like, I don't think they're wrong though. I've just seen people get bitched out in channels for saying the most innocent things that like but from some way it's somewhat justified. I don't usually say that about a lot of backseating. It's also something you want to backseat. Oh my god, once you have the knowledge. Almost like that with Subnautica too. That's without prior expectations. So yeah, all I know about Subnautica is there's exploration, there's building stuff, and in the speed runs you want to half flood your habs because for some reason that gives you a movement speed boost. Yep. I guess I also know that there's some dark areas and big scary fish. I'd like to think that I don't really have enough knowledge to actually spoil anything, so it's on my list. I think I've been contemplating whether I do it in VR or not. Because I think there's Subnautica VR. Okay, so it's on a VR store. But I think the original Subnautica has VR support. Interesting. Oh my god. Okay, wait, hold on. Alright, too relevant. So someone's like, reminder, Subnautica VR support. Good. Here's how to do it. Cool. Love that. This is from 3 years ago. Perfect. Right? You scroll down, someone's like, oh yeah, shame you can't go up in VR. Reasonable. Third comment down, have you played the Outer Wilds with the VR mod? I think you'll love the Outer Wilds. I guess I'm not the only one on this wavelength. I didn't know Outer Wilds had a VR mod. That would be really nice. Could also be terrifying. I like playing space games. I don't know if I want to be in space. I also don't want to be in an open ocean. So silly. Okay, so it's... I go to the one thing that I keep discounting. I'm gonna start extrude. Oh wait, I tried this already. I'm kind of loop. I have no idea. Let's grab a viewer. Okay, so the whole thing is up there. That's after we do an extrude. And hide the viewer. Nope. Everything's broken. This is baffling. Maybe I'm just not thinking about it right. Okay, hold on. If we're always putting in the same geometry, and then we're extruding the whole thing, yeah, we just need an exception for the first one. Maybe. Okay, wait, how does that viewer make? Brain broke. You can recommend the flat screen to VR Discord. I'll check that out. Yeah. Speaking of which, I'm hoping that I can still get like press button to toggle between VR and flat screen. If I was going forward with the Pico SDK, I couldn't because Pico starts influencing everything else, even if scripts aren't active in the scene. And I kind of think Unity might have screwed up some stuff where they, I don't know how to put it. Yeah, they touched a lot of VR stuff in ways that is irreconcilable. Irreconcilable. Yes, I can speak. They even finally made a Sims 4 VR mod. Of all the games I never felt I needed in VR. Alright, I guess I thought about it in, would that be top down? Is that the same thing? As long as it's not first person. I don't need to be a sim. Probably better to keep a really strict rule about backseating and spoilers on games like that, because people have a strong habit of dropping in and innocently inquiring, how far are you? And did this thing happen yet? That's true. I think some of the best ways the backseating was handled in any channel that I saw was they had a dedicated mod, like one person that was both like cutting out text from chat that could be spoilery and even punishing people with very little prejudice. High prejudice, whatever the term is. And then like apologizing, like, sorry, I have to do this. So that was one part, right? The mod. But then they were also encouraged to ask the mod through whispers questions so the mod could answer without you spoiling anyone else in chat or the streamer. And I was like, okay, well, at least there's an outlet for you to talk and ask questions, and it doesn't feel like you're punished for saying hello in a chat. Because it kind of felt like that, but it is what it is. No idea everything again. It is first person, then I cringe all over again. Like, VR is great at making like dollhouses look good. Like anything miniaturized, anything that has high density in a small area looks really good. First person, in real life, you only have depth perception. Binocular depth perception out to 5 or 6 feet. And then after that, you're using, I forget what the term is exactly, but like the scale of an object will determine how far away it is based on your perception of how big it is, right? Also shading. If things get lighter, like if the entire value of colors of an object get lighter, then you consider it further away because you're looking through more atmosphere. Yeah, all of that just means that first person VR isn't as good as we want it to be. First person VR means that all of the stuff that's cool needs to be within 5 or 6 feet of you. That castle in the distance, not that different than a flat screen castle in the distance. So when you say Sims first person, I'm like, why? Sims as a god game where you're like looking down and controlling people, like a black and white kind of thing, that actually benefits from VR a lot. So, again, just why? Sorry if I'm preaching to the choir. You probably know all this, but yeah, that's my thinking for like critiquing it at all. But what if you want to play house while in your house? I mean, yeah, you have to teleport around a lot, and don't they have to change most of everything? Does The Sims have a first person mode? Maybe they do. I've never played The Sims, I'll be honest about that. Never truly appealed to me. Maybe if it didn't have people. I don't think I want to manage people. Or people's real lives. Obviously, drag selecting some units in StarCraft and telling them to go somewhere is very satisfying. If you build a house that's accurate to you and you have a full house environment to walk through without teleporting, I mean, that's brilliant. I love that idea. Uh, do you have centimeter precision? Because you would need that. And you'd need to set it up in the exact right spot. But I'm waiting. I'll watch that YouTube video. I just feel like you'd have to add so much, especially if you wanted to make a video out of it. Like, imagine there being a moment where you like want to go and adjust a painting. It's like they probably don't have crooked paintings, and you need to add the whole thing about making it, and then you would need to make sure it's in the right place. Like, it would be a great gag, but so much work. Straightening out the Mona Lisa. Someone should figure out proper light field projection too for actual focus depth. I feel like we're so early in light field. I mean, not it's been around for a little while, but like it's so slow to adopt. I get that Nerf is light field stuff and it's starting to take off in that direction. But there was a Kickstarter like 10, 15 years ago for this small camera that would make, very small pictures, but it would record the whole light field so you could refocus. And it was pretty cool. But such a novelty gadget? Like, why has that not been made into like a major motion? I was gonna say, why isn't it a major motion picture camera yet? But like, why do I feel like they do have some cutting edge cameras that are starting to use light fields so that you can refocus, or you don't even need to focus the camera while you're on set. You never have a scene lost to, focal length. We need some sneaky calibration every now and then, but maybe you could grab the map data directly from the HMD. I mean, yeah, if you have scanning on the HMD, it's partially why I'm excited about the Quest 3. Honestly, I wasn't expecting it to be such an AR headset until I saw the first things. And I was like, oh, they not only did AR, they did it pretty well. I'm sure there's still some bugs or whatnot, but man, we just leaped. Could be problematic with stairs. Might be back to Doom. Multiple overlapping floors. But The Sims has stairs, right? That's where you need the centimeter precision. Or maybe just tech to scale the height and depth of each step to real world scan data. Vertically. Yeah. No, I know what you mean. I think it saves your room data so that way you can put things in places, which is like something the HoloLens could kind of do, but also not really because it would do scans. It just couldn't validate scans very well. They could be shooting with multiple depths, bracketed cameras to get if it's necessary. It's fair. Maybe add some LiDAR for the Z map for a good measure. Yes, I don't really know much about the light field tech, like how it works. I don't know, but I also don't know that much about cameras besides like, rays bounce through lenses and land on a sensor. Like, what sensor do you need to spread out a light field to capture more raw data that can be reused? I don't know. But yeah, ZMap is amazing. So good. So the project that we're working on, that we will be doing on stream, and we're literally still copying data, uses depth kit. I think I should a little bit of this. Okay, show me a demo. Give me a second. Okay, yeah, this looks decent. What is this video though? So I can't put back the video bar. The play bar is here on the play button. So they have like a depth sensor that they use to capture a real person. If you use them in sync, they can auto mask out the worlds. And you get like, yeah, depth. Get full geometry out of it. It's pretty neat. That would be one sensor. Yeah, getting multiple sensors, you get full things. We get point clouds. Point clouds can go into meshes. It's pretty neat. So like the tech's almost there, but depth kit's really expensive, so I assume 5 or 10 years until it's more consumer ready. Sims has stairs, but how does the HMD get the height in the real world to notice that? Needs an altimeter. Yeah. You also have the inertial measurement units. So if you travel up high enough, like say you travel up more than a foot, you might have to say if you're starting in a chair or standing. If you're standing and your headset moves more than a foot up, we could say that that is moving like one step on a stair. So you don't need full altimeter. Also, I don't know how accurate altimeters are. Going for a light field camera for movie production sounds like a lot of R&D money for very little actual gain. Catless, you serious? Very little gain? So if you think about everything involved in a scene, you can like nail the lighting beforehand. Easy. You can kind of nail the actor's positions beforehand. You can nail the framing beforehand. You cannot, well, I mean, you can automate the focal length if you want, but then you have to automate the focal length. And if it's still off from the depth that the actors are because they acted a little bit quicker than you expected or something, then, you know, your actors knowing their lines and performing, there's noises on set. There's like so many things that would make you reshoot a scene. And this would just take out one of them. Like, I would think a big one. It overrides everything else. While you might be able to clean up audio, how do you refocus a scene in a traditional camera? And also, you usually have like a director with a camera person and a cinematographer, right? And I think the cinematographer could be getting mixed up with another job title, is actively changing the focal length as the shot progresses. Like, I don't know. It just feels like there's a job that doesn't need to ruin everything if it goes wrong and can be done without any stress later. It's like one less person on set. You know, I don't know how much they get paid, but I'm sure letting them do work in post is a lot easier. Not gonna say you're wrong about how much R&D money, but I think if we're gonna keep making movies going forward, like, light field cameras could never hurt. Then I don't know. What do I know? Sorry, that was kind of a rant. If I was a director, I'd want to minimize anything that could make a scene go wrong. How many times can you get an actor to do the same scene over and over again before they're going to start sacrificing quality? Just because they're tired or frustrated. You've got only 2D maps? There's no rooms above other rooms? That's true. You got an AR? Wait, what is an AR HMD? Or which AR HMD? It's not one of the Windows mixed reality ones, is it? Heard very questionable things about them. Am I really this off? That was a long rant. Not the Windows thingies? Okay, my ears are perked. Okay, does it still work? I have a friend that also has a Magic Leap, but says that it is just a very expensive paperweight because they updated it. The update didn't work correctly, and they were like, oops, sorry, we know it's a brick. That's it, no fix. Just enjoy your very prestigious paperweight. If it works, that's amazing. We should do something. Works perfectly last time you used it, 2 years ago or so. Fair. I mean, it looked so cool. I wanted to try it. Yeah, one of my friends brought it for me to try, but what happened? The controller wouldn't sync with the headset, and it's absolutely useless at that point. Even though it's AR, it doesn't do gestures. So yeah, that was... And I want Magic Leap to work. You got new and sealed for 150? That's good. That's... Yeah, I wouldn't complain about that. And how much was it new? I remember it being just like so expensive. The original Magic Leap. It's cool. And there's another one that projected laser images onto your eyes. I heard from someone that worked on the team, secondhand. I heard from someone that heard from someone that worked on the team that prolonged use did actually burn images into your retinas. Or maybe not retinas, maybe your corneas. Lenses? Yeah, scary. There's an eBay seller with hundreds just throwing them out. Yeah, somehow not surprised. I went to magicleap.com. I clicked the buy now, and it's loading forever. Loading forever. But other than the benefit of the doubt, maybe it's me. Maybe my internet's slow today. This seems really weird. Viewing the extruded mesh inside is only like 1 frame worth of extrusion. It starts at 0. Do I do it over here? We could set position just for the ones that got extruded on the first frame, maybe. And we have an iterator. Okay, that should be like first or second frame. Full math to add them together. This plus the top. Then into geometry. Why? We need a knot. Just reverse the whole thing. And it took off. Man, I'm gonna give up. This is crazy. So first one was 2,000-3,000 or something. Yeah, that's about the ballpark I remember being very high. But they killed the old one totally from the website, it seems. No idea what the 2 is about. Good question. Yeah, that's the one that's also not loading for me. Like, Magic Leap doesn't load. This has been loading since I complained that it wasn't loading. And just nothing. Fun to actually be able to look around and have things go up at the right places. Sounds cool. It's a shooter game in which portals opened up in your real walls and monsters came out. That sounds cool. Another toy app with objects and little toy characters. All sounds pretty promising. You could put them on your actual table and they would fight until one would fall off. I mean, that even sounds like a good idea. Spawn balloons that would just bump up against your ceiling. Those sound like fun ideas. Like way better than the HoloLens. The HoloLens was like, here's a bunch of 3D models that you can place in your apartment, and if the scanning can validate that you're in the place it's been before, which was like 50% chance, it will reload that object in that same spot. Again, persistence in real life is really cool. You need to do something with it. Like putting a spaceship or a ballerina on a wall in your apartment isn't a killer app. They did have the mapping of your actual surroundings working. Very good, at least. That's cool. So HoloLens had one, I don't know if I'd call it a killer app, but there was an experience, I forget what it was called exactly. But it was like a full game. And people, like virtual people, could walk right into your room. They could talk to you, maintain eye contact. They would like go and find a seat if they found something at sitting height and talk to you from the seat. And people said it was very realistic. I think it was some sort of, I want to say it was like a forensic or a crime drama or something. Yeah, it was. People were blown away, even though the screen in front of your face is like this big. It's tiny. Picture quality and tracking was awesome too, but very low field of view. Yeah, field of view is what kills AR. Right up until Quest 3 and Apple Vision. 40-degree display, but more glasses around it to look through. Yeah. I'm very curious what. So the US Army just purchased HoloLens after a long bout of motion sickness, shiny glasses that would get you spotted, lights on the outside. I forget what there was a whole bunch of things that just like Microsoft did not think for a second of how this military object was going to be used. But they did eventually, after years, finally buy it, not just like invest in the R&D. I am so curious as to what that ended up being. I have every doubt that the military, I say this right? I don't think the military would ever pay for something that's not amazing. So I am really curious as to if they ever improved anything, because nothing about the HoloLens 2 is actually that promising. So thank you, US military, if it's any good, I guess. Yeah. Again, blown away by Quest. I want to play with Legos. The hand tracking has been so good. They warned me I was in a dark room and that hand tracking would be bad, and it proceeded to perfectly track my hands for the entire experience. So, like, I don't know. If their subpar is still very passable, I don't know. Evil Company does something good. Yeah, Magic Leap is sad because it felt like an underdog for a while, and then they got big VC money, and then they closed off to consumers. All tech is questionable. That's where I'll go. All tech is questionable these days. Everyone's firing their devs like it's a cool thing to do. It's up into space. But it still has the weird stretch. I'm just adding to the weird stretch. Let's try just less than. Oh, thank you for the follow. That was loud. We're turning that down. Sorry. Time to get a few hats, like those hat heads you can put somewhere to store your hats, but for storing heads at HMDs, I would need a few. I would need quite a few. Mount them on the wall like a hunter. Sounds like a good idea. Yeah, I don't plan on taking most of them down. They're all such a pain in the butt. And the early days where it was just Oculus was admittedly really nice. Not everything was fully supported, but a lot of things were supported. They were easy. There's only one SDK you needed. Shortly after, you didn't really need an SDK. Times were good. And then Unity tried to continue supporting VR, even though everyone was splintering VR, and then just... I'm hoping Unity 6 is just gonna like tie it all up with a bow, make it nice, less confusing. Oh, wait, where did it go? If they're a pain in the butt, you got the wrong corded devices and are on the wrong streaming platform. I think that's fair. Okay, so one headset I have is the Fove. It's one of the first and one of the only headsets to have eye tracking built in. I think it got kickstarted. It got a round of investment from Japan. It was planning on being used in internet cafes because you would need less, like you could just put it on and use your eyes to navigate most things. Yeah, I don't know what happened to that, but the calibration was kind of a pain in the butt. You need like special proprietary software, and I don't know if I ever got it working with SteamVR. I don't remember really trying, but its Unity integration was pretty decent. Yeah. Headsets. I don't think I would recommend a VR headset until the Quest 2, or Quest 3. And we'll see. The Pico might not be the worst, but yeah, just make sure you factor in the virtual desktop price. Oh, I way zoomed out. I'll get it. Maybe it's just this though. Maybe it's less about moving it around after the fact. More about making sure that this is actually 0 at first, so we're not actually extruding. Alright. No, no, let's see. We need to switch this over to vector. I'm excited. So I'm going to try Pico tomorrow, I think, with virtual desktop and Steam VR. See how that works. And if it works, then I think we're full steam ahead. We're going to get, hopefully, an open XR. We'll get Mechablo back up and running. I gotta look into getting a new GPU soon too. I think that's kind of the most important thing. I feel like an idiot for not realizing that my GPU was throttling everything we were doing with Megablo. Full steam ahead? Why not full epic ahead? I'm not an epic fan. Gabe Newell, I don't dislike. I think there's only been one serious decision that I've questioned, and that was maybe it's two-parted, like the opening of the Steam store at the same time, like it was part of the same decision to like allow adult and mature games on Steam. That's the only thing I think freedoms to release those kind of games are great, but the fact that anyone can put their game up now and you're just flooded with things, and it's kind of a twofold problem, isn't it? Too many games, maybe not worth looking at, and many of those games being adult content now, the ratio being so skewed. People left Valve for that, from what I understand. There was a big schism in the company over that decision. So I know I'm not alone. Less than. I think we move it first. Checking out now. Good night, zombie. Good to see you. Hope to see you tomorrow. And yeah, I'll get at you with results, which I assume will be amazing. And I will be seeing the glory of Pico soon. You dislike Valve and Epic equally. Okay. I think that's a valid stance. I think there's a lot of things that I ignore about Valve because I like the Steam services. I'm willing to ignore a lot of things. Just want to put my bias out there. I don't want to pretend to not be biased. And then I also dislike that Epic can't coexist. Like they came out of the gate with like a we're killing Steam. We're gonna kill the Apple Store. It's like, you might feel like you're the underdog hero, but some of us like these services and think what you're providing is actually bad. Like, I don't like the Epic Game Store or the Epic Launcher at all, and I avoid them like the plague. I don't like the exclusivities. So yeah, not an underdog, actually looking a lot more like an evil private company. Just don't forget to change your account name of the Pico account or write it down. Need to add NVD. I'm gonna copy and paste that. Okay. Do it in virtual desktop. Yeah, alright, I'll have to figure out how to change the name. It can't be that hard, right? Yes, thank you. I'll let you know tomorrow when I inevitably have problems. I mean, when it works perfectly. Mm-hmm. Need to log in on the website. Okay. Also copy pasted. Talked about it yesterday on Arrow's stream, but it was really a pretty good marketing campaign for Epic. It did what it wanted to achieve, which is to eat at Valve's monopoly. Yeah. I mean, sure it did. But yeah, I guess my stance is like, your goal was destructive, and I'm not going to be productive in the light of your destructive actions. Like, that's not going to win me over. If they were instead just like, we have an Epic Game Store and we want you to try it out without, making developers renege on their purchased SKUs because they're going to jump ship and lie to you, right? Like, I bought so many games on frickin' Steam. I pre-ordered games on Steam that got canceled and pushed back a full frickin' year. Like, I don't think that's good. I don't, like, yes, they accomplished something, but they accomplished, I don't think Tim Sweeney's doing the right thing. Like, sure, it might be effective. There's lots of negative things that are effective. Epic is 40% Tencent. That's another reason. That's a great reason to not like them. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah. Statistics for Tencent are scary. How much of the mobile market they own, how much of the video game companies you love they own. But they wouldn't get the results if they did that. Like, maybe, but you still have to question the results that they did get, because there's still a lot of people that are like, I will never download Epic. Like, they made enemies as part of their results. Can't believe you're having to defend Epic. It's a fun combo. Oh yeah, I totally agree. Like, it would be nice to just have the discussion with Valve to lower the amount. Then again, I also complain about there being too many games out there and too many adult games, and if you only need to be a special novelty person to get a special amount, like, I don't know. Sure. How do we punish the flood of porn games that are kind of ruining your ability to browse content? How do we stop developers from wanting to just make porn games because they sell well? You don't buy any pro-consumer arguments from Epic, but you also don't buy them from Valve. Oh, no. My argument has always been Valve maintains a good service, and if 30% allows them to not only create new products, but also retain the number of staff they have and keep all the services running, then 30% is what's needed. Epic has already shot themselves in the foot over and over. Everything they've done has led to laying off 800 employees that they're never going to hire again. Both companies have exactly one goal in mind, as we both know. I don't agree with them having the same goal. And I think that's why I am more pro-Valve, because I see Valve as more either neutral or progressive, and I see Epic as just disruptive. Like, purely not disruptive because they're messing with the monopoly. They're really putting it to the man. They are the man. Like, they are worse than Valve in every way, because Fortnite. Oh my god, the dark patterns of Fortnite. Oh my god, the addictive tendencies. Oh my god, they addicted all of our children to Fortnite. And then they're going to take all of that money and fire all of the developers for Fortnite. They're going to tell the kids to start developing for Fortnite. They're going to open up really bad stores for assets that they're going to take money from for the kids to make to use in Fortnite. Again, it's just predatory to children. I can't stand behind Epic at all because of that, again, goading developers into breaking contractual agreements with consumers over platform availability. Like, I don't know. Yeah, to me, it's like heavily skewed. If Epic acted not as an absolute cesspool, trying to just piss on everybody and be like, "Ha, we're all pissy," like, I might be more on Epic's side. But the engine they have to make money is evil, and the things that they're doing to make a disruption, I also think are kind of evil. You disagree? Epic is worse? You agree. But Valve is very barely above. Neither are good. That's fair. I've always said Valve is a company I would never want to work for. And by always, I mean, there might have been a couple months where I'm like, oh my god, Valve's cool. Oh my god, you wheel your desk around. You could work on anything. That's so cool. Like, that died pretty quickly. Hear about anyone that's left Valve and you're like, oh yeah, no, that sounds like a toxic workplace. But again, I don't think Epic's done anything good for me. Ever. Including ruining my favorite games like Unreal. And Valve? Steam Deck, HTC Vive. Like, they're doing stuff. They put out Half-Life Alyx. It's good. Valve is still profiting off of gambling. They're both profiting off gambling. I would be interested in wondering what your angle on the gambling is. Just because I don't feel like I'm as well informed. Like, I could guess that it's people buying card packs to get badges and maybe get items in the meta Steam ecosystem. You know, stickers, profile skins, emotes, all that kind of stuff. You don't see that much of a difference between either. One is profiting off of kids, and others profiting off of kids via third-party websites. Hmm. Maybe I give an edge to Valve because Valve's failed at keeping Dota fully monetized. Like, that championship seems to have fallen off pretty hard. Team Fortress and its hats seem to also have fallen off pretty hard. Whereas Fortnite, I saw an advertisement for, what company was it? Was it a car company? Was it Boeing? Oh, no, it was Marriott. It was the Marriott hotel chain that decided to make a game in Fortnite. And the advertisement wasn't as much, like, it was butchered between having a couple of clips of someone walking into a freaking hotel and people playing just some stupid Fortnite bullshit. Like, I don't know. It's not, like, Valve yet makes games available to children. But Epic is making the thing that children are addicted to into a marketing vehicle that they're just letting, like, huge companies just, like, willingly jump on the bandwagon and influence all of these kids in, I don't know, toxic ways. It's like just too much crossover between marketing and playing games. Weapon skins for CS and Dota mostly. For gambling stuff. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. I do think that it's worse for Fortnite because Fortnite's more popular and marketed to kids, but I guess. Again, I see CS as something that's failing or part of an older audience, and I also see Dota as something that is part of an older audience and they're not pushing the monetary angle as much anymore. Like the championships has kind of fallen out of favor. Tired of the unconditional defense of Valve from capitalist G gamers when they do the same stuff with extra steps, but they provide a somewhat good service that we got used to. I mean, that's been my sticking point. It's like, I like Valve because I like Steam. And I don't like Epic because they came out with a half-assed product and they're like, promise us we'll have parity with Valve eventually, and they aren't even close. It's just so bad. And them shoveling money out and then firing people. I just need more anti-Valve propaganda. I just haven't been exposed to enough of it. It's easy for me to make my own stuff up about Epic because Epic is putting themselves in the news all the time for everything. Like they want to be, advertising Fortnite. They want to be in court fighting Apple. They want to be in court fighting Google. They want to be in fighting Valve. Like they're just combative. And the combating of things that, it's like way more visible. Yeah, again, we are bringing it, like, I don't want to work at Valve. I feel bad for the people that work at Valve. I feel bad for the people that have left Valve because it was a good place to work and it got to be a much worse place to work. Like laying off, I heard they laid off a lot of the VR team and a team that was working on, what was it? Was it AR? There was something. But they were like, we wish you the best. Go start your own company. Get out of here. You agree it's not kids with Valve. That's a lot less true than Epic, yeah. But you still do not think gambling is good or neutral. Fair. Yeah, very fair. At least the way Valve does it. That's true. Like I haven't been exposed to the gambling. I don't play either of those games that much. Just the Steam store, which I see has skins you can buy. Yeah, I'm not going to defend that they're not gambling. I mean, like, at least if you want something, there's probably a means to get it by just buying it and not being tricked into paying for loot boxes. But again, I don't really know. So I'll drop it. Cases are literally illegal under gambling laws in some EU countries. Yeah, I'm not surprised. The EU is getting much better on moral things. It's specifically under gambling laws. That's fair. I think if I saw more of the Valve gambling angle, I would be more with you. Because I'm also definitely against gambling. I find it predatory. It's easy to just addict almost anybody. Yeah, we should probably be exposing less people to gambling. Didn't that start with loot box keys? Maybe. Yes, but the way they're minted is opening loot boxes. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, so you open a loot box and then you can resell the item on the store. Probably for a markup. Well, definitely for a markup. Then there's also third-party websites that gamble with already minted skins. Okay. They got into hot water with that in 2017 when they shut down some websites. Well, that's good. I'm gonna have to keep more of an eye on this. But that's blown over. They don't seem to be doing anything. Yeah. In the end, they still profit off them because people usually sell them on the market in the end. True. So they're getting money from both the boxes and the reselling. Hmm. I mean, that's fair. I don't know how we would get Valve to change that. Can we petition? I don't think that works with private companies. We could try. I would love it if companies would clean up a little bit so you could actually, critique something they're doing that's not great. They could change it and then you could continue believing in them. Instead of you complain about something and they're like, oh, we're going to double down because it was a good direction and, morals don't matter. Yeah, that's the trend. Tech sucks nowadays. Okay. What if we do and? I feel like I've tried this and it failed. Okay. Creator, I think. But that turns everything off. This need to be set to int. Greater than 0. Yes, the first time. Or if it's not the first time and top. These work. Fail. Whatever. Again, the end goal of any company is to make money. Anything else is a parallel at best and secondary, tertiary at worst. True. That's true. Do we need a whole new set of terms for an altruistic world order? Because I don't think you're wrong. But we need a new way to define I don't know, a grouping of people that choose to act in the same direction on the same product, but for the good of society themselves, and, well, for the good of society, the product, and themselves in that order. Only there is something like that, like an economic model. I mean, yeah, sure. Again, aren't all the economic models using very similar terminology? You just have to structure it differently. To make money itself isn't the problem. Everyone working for a wage does it. I don't know. I like to think we could take off the capitalist lenses and there could be an